Indeed, those were the days. The first guitar group to be formed in Singapore that made a big name for themselves. But this was in the early 60s. In fact, they were, at that time, Singapore's answer to the Ventures. They disbanded in early 64 to pursue their individual careers. Well, they've certainly come a long way since then, as one is a lawyer, one a successful stockbroker, one an engineer, and the other works in the PSA. As our studio guests this evening, let's welcome the Den Trekkers. How do you do, fellas, and welcome to the show.
Hi, studio.
Hey, it's certainly good to see you all after all these 18 years.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk individually to every one of them. First, let's talk to rhythm guitarist Charles. Charles, what are you doing now?
I'm a solicitor.
And, you're the one that is the successful lawyer, isn't it?
Well, you can't say anything to that.
With a big guitar.
That's right, yes.
That was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. But my mother was always against me in the band, and I decided to study a little bit more, and play a little bit less.
Why did I think let's go back a little bit more to find out why you were so successful at that time, being the first and only guitar group that really got on the scene. Why did you disband it? I mean, didn't you think there was enough money
in the business? Well, we were paid a small amount, like $35-50 for an evening of music, and we figured, boy, we can go on through life just making $50 for an evening to be shared among four of us. So we said, okay, boy, next time we come back, after we disbanded, we'll be managers of the group, so we'll make more. So that's why we left and pursue our individual careers.
I see. That's lead guitarist Henry Gunn. Henry, I believe you handle all the finances for the group.
That's right. It was pretty hard to balance the books.
We were always broke.
Well, Charles has something to say to that. Yes.
We were always broke, actually, and Henry handled all the finances, and every time after we played in one of these clubs, we would end up in a restaurant eating away whatever there was left.
But it was fun.
It was fun, yeah. We had our big drummer, George Wang, and he usually eats up most of what we earn for the evening.
You still
And we have to pick up the crumbs that was left on the plate.
Okay, Henry, you've been away now for about what? A good 16 years.
Yeah, about 17 years.
Where are you?
I'm in Los Angeles, California.
What do you do there?
I'm an account executive with Merrill Lynch in Pasadena.
That's the world's biggest stockbroker.
Yes, the largest brokerage house in the world. And that's what I just started that about 3 years ago. But prior to that, I was an engineer. And prior to that, I was just attending, universities, seeking higher degrees.
I see. Well, we'll talk more to you, with you, regarding the music scene in Los Angeles. In the meantime, let's talk to bass guitar William. William, what do you do?
Hi, Swee Leong. I'm with PSA.
You are you?
Yeah, that's right. Second largest spot in the world.
That's true too. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, William, if my memory serves me correctly, you were the last, in fact, to give up the music scene, so to speak, because after the Trekkers, you formed another group or joined another group. Can you tell us?
I had a call immediately after that, and I was asked to join the Reverbs, and we played for quite some time. In fact, we won a competition, Freddie and the Dreamers.
That's right, and subsequently you formed another group called
That's right, the Stray Dogs.
The Stray Dogs.
Yeah.
That's right, I remember
Yeah,
that.
but this time I have to switch to lead, you see, because there was no one playing the lead. Not that I'm good at it.
But your instrument is really the bass guitar.
That's correct. I prefer the bass.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Moving over to the drums now, as we talk to George Wang. George, what do you do now?
Well, I'm working as an engineer.
But you were abroad studying for a little while as
Yes,
well.
also, yes.
Where did you go?
I was in England. I was in Australia for several years,
Oh, you're the world traveler.
just like Harry.
Okay, we've been talking to the boys in the Trekkers. Let's maybe pause for a little while and listen to one of the very few recordings that we found in Rediffusion's archives.
That's right.
In fact, it wasn't much of a recording, really, because I was told by Henry that this was recorded, in
In open hall
It was a home recording.
Yeah.
And,
with a average tape recorder.
I see, with
one
a-
microphone.
with
One
one
microphone,
microphone, as
yeah.
opposed to 24 microphones
That's
that you
right.
would
Expect
record
Today,
four-piece
yeah.
band, for example. Okay, I see several songs here. Which would you consider one of your best, for example?
Our best, I would say, Guitar Boogie would be one of our best.
Guitar Boogie, yes,
Yes.
I remember this one when
That's
after...
That's our original version. That's why we liked it. That's a song that we played when we first started the band, and it's a song that we played at every band practices and every functions.
And if I remember rightly, after you've played the song, everybody was paralyzed or something.
That's right. It's a
Because-
song where we test the strength of the group. You know,
Okay.
it goes on for
It's a
3.5
very long song,
minutes,
yeah.
so it's a very long number.
Okay, let's reminisce a little bit and go back 18 years to a little studio, or a little hall, I should say, and listen to the Trekkers and Guitar Boogie. In case you've just joined us, you're listening to our studio guests, the Trekkers, and we're talking to them. They're very big boys now and very successful. And we're listening to some of the recordings that they made some 18 years ago. Okay, you've also done several, I believe, television shows as well.
Well,
In
we
fact,
did
the
it-
only group that...
We did one television show, and we were the first band on TV to perform live.
I see.
This was in 1964. of
Right.
course, yeah.
But you're basically an instrumental group. Why didn't you bring in vocals into the group at that time?
We did at a later stage. You know, at that age we were very shy, and We were brought up in a very conservative family, not very articulate with ourselves. So the only way we express ourselves is through our instruments, and so we had to hire singers at the time, and we did whenever we have to play at certain functions.
But we also did have jaywalkers with us.
Right, we
Right
did.
at the
Charles.
beginning, Charles.
Right, Charles had his own
Vocal group.
vocal group at the time, so we
Charles had a
Jaywalkers.
vocal group.
Yes,
Jaywalkers.
called the Jaywalkers.
Also
Oh, yes,
Susan Lim.
with,
I was
with the late Susan Lim.
That's
of
right.
course,
Susan
yes.
Lim and my other sister, Pao Yan.
That's right, yes.
She's not in Australia.
Susan, if I remember,
She was
was with a group called the Crescendos,
Crescendos,
yes.
right.
Yes, they made
Specific
several
one.
recordings, though.
Right. There was when Susan was singing with the Jaywalkers. This was before the Crescendos. So we kind of grew up together and learned a lot about music, I would say.
And about each other too as well.
And about
That's
each
right.
other as well. Well, talking about old-time music, how many more groups could you remember during your period of time? I can remember Naomi and the Boys. Of course, there were the Quests.
Right. The
And-
Quest came after I think
65.
yeah
if I
65
remember.
right after we disbanded.
And there were the Tornadoes.
Tornadoes, yes,
That's right, Tornadoes.
as well. Talking about individual singers as well, there were people like Robert Song and the Dean Martin of Singapore at that time was, if I remember, Tommy Tan. Tommy was the Dean Martin of Singapore. In fact, Tommy is still on the scene. Rahim Hamid was the Nat King Cole, and who was Connie Francis at that time?
Connie Francis.
Patricia Pestana or somebody like
Right.
that, no?
Right.
But it's certainly nice to bring back all these old memories again.
Right. There was the Flamingos. I think they played quite a
That's
bit.
right, and
Charlie and his group.
Right, and part of the Flamingos came the Gay Lads
Right. That's right.
that won the, if I remember, the Blue Diamonds contest.
That's right.
at that time.
Boy, those are
Good
old
memories,
times.
yeah.
I didn't know you've been around the business in Australia.
Well, I'm only 39. I started very early.
That's right.
How old are you, Charles?
I'm 31.
31, the baby of the group, of course.
Yeah, think so.
And you, George?
I'm about 34 now.
34, you married? Happy
Yes,
married?
yes.
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
Two.
George, you say you studied in England and in Australia. What were the music scene like at that time when you left? Were they still playing that kind of music, like guitars?
Not so much. In England was Shadows, not so much
Yeah.
Adventures.
Yeah.
More Shadows, and Beatles was on the scene then. But I wasn't very much involved in
In fact, what I wanted to find out really was that were we very much backward insofar as the music scene is concerned, or
I couldn't tell.
Yeah,
Henry.
I wouldn't say so. I think Singapore is pretty advanced. Even at that time, the songs that were played here, it was current hits at that time in the States, and
yeah, but we only got the songs through the hit parade charts. I mean, really,
Right.
the records
but
came by.
Singapore is one of the biggest sellers of records in the world. So whenever a new release that you find in the States, you can be assured that it will be in Singapore pretty quick.
Mhm.
Mainly because there's enough businesses out here for records.
Okay, enough chatter. Let's listen to another piece of music that you recorded. I see there's Guitar Twist, Tequila, Runaway, Sukiyaki, Driving Guitar, Shindig, and many, many more you did, of course.
Yes,
Huh?
we did quite a few.
Why don't we pick Tequila? I kind of like the tequila beat, so to speak.
Yeah, that sounds good.
What do you think?
Yeah, why not?
All right,
What
let's
about
just...
Guitar Twist?
That is, well, I think we like to play all of them, but we
Okay.
I don't think that's enough time to play all of
Yeah.
it. So right now, why don't we listen to Tequila?
Mm.